Welcome back, everybody. Today we will be reviewing Legacy United, Deluxe Class, Star Raider, Filch.
Yep, so this just arrived the other day and we had her on pre-order. And yeah, so we thought we'd show you guys this figure. And yeah, so I don't know much about Filch. I know she was a character who appeared in Robots in Disguise, but not the 2001 version, the 2013 version. And I believe this is based on her, on that sort of, on that character, but this with her being a Star Raider, which I believe are like pirates, which Thundertron is based on. So yeah, some nice little artwork here. I like that pose that she's got on there. And of course on the back, we see the steps there, 21 steps. However, we have this mold technically already, don't we, Nathan?
Twice, actually.
Yeah. So you'll see it in the comparisons, but we have Air Razor and we have Maximal Skywarp, and it's pretty much the same mold. I think there's some slight changes, like I believe the wings are slightly different, but yeah. And of course we have there. So I love this, actually. I love this piece of art here. But other than that, there's not much else to say about the box, is there, really?
Yeah, Filch is a crow, not to be confused with a rook or a raven.
Yeah.
That's
all you really know. And I believe in the show she's obsessed with shiny things, isn't she?
Like crows.
Yeah, like real crows. So anyway, enough chatting about the box and her origins. Let's look at the figure itself. So here we have Filch in her out of the packaging and in her bot mode. Nathan, your first initial thoughts?
So, I first looked at Filch and then I immediately went to the eyes. They're pretty nicely painted in the robot mode. But then I looked at the eyes on the crow and then I saw the tiniest ever pupil. But it's absolutely amazing how well they painted it. You can't really see it well on camera, but...
Yeah, we might be able to see it more in the bot mode. I think it just gives it that little bit of character, I suppose. That's the way.
A little shine in the eye.
So obviously Nathan's first impression was, because when he first got her out of the box, it was that she had really small wingspan. But then of course as somebody might know, her wings detached, unlike with Air Razor, which again you'll see very, very soon on the comparisons. But here we have one where it just attaches and then hit one here as a weapon. I think the weapon's a bit weak.
Yeah. I mean, it's there, but is it meant to be an axe? Is it meant to be a gun? Is it meant to be...
I think it's meant to be some sort of like melee weapon. I don't think it's meant to be any sort of like gun or anything like that.
Blade thing.
Yeah, but yeah, the rest of it is pretty nice. A nice head sculpt. You know, just the colours are nice as well. I mean, I know it's very Decepticon colours, but you know, still, we like it.
It's your ideal Decepticon palette.
Yeah, it is. Even though she's not a Decepticon, she's technically a Star Raider. A Star Raider, that's it. I'm going to say Star Seeker. I don't know where I got that from. A Star Seeker. Anyway, so let's move on to Articulation.
Moving on to Articulation, the head can look up quite far, actually, and cannot look down, sadly. But that is understood because of this. Then we've got the shoulder here. You can move it like 90 degrees.
Can it go up? No. So it's sort of stuck there, isn't it?
Can't go down anything, obviously. And then you've got the elbow.
Yeah.
Elbow, yeah.
And there's a swivel on. Is there a swivel? I think there's a swivel on the elbow, just above the elbow as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. The wrist moves up and down. Sadly, not. Sadly, it doesn't swivel though.
Okay, and now onto the chest. Do we have any chest swivel?
Yeah, mushroom peg.
Yeah, so just above the chest. So it's more like the hips, isn't it? That move there.
Which I think that's part of the transformation, actually.
Yeah, and then legs or thighs.
Thigh. Yeah, swivels. Swivel like that.
Yeah.
Bit weird.
How far does she kick out?
No.
No.
That far.
Are you sure? Should not go.
Oh, right, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, that far.
She kicks up pretty high.
That far.
And then we have.
Actually, at the
do we have a knee joint?
Knee joint, yeah.
She bends back pretty far then. And a
Kinda
bit of a
like it.
swivel just above the knee as well, isn't it? That look like then? You just seem to move the knee without moving the thigh. Yeah, so a little bit of a swivel just above the knee. Then what about the ankle?
Yeah, that swivels, goes up and goes down a bit.
And it looks like she's got a bit of a shin movement as well. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Okay. Oh, the cat has returned. Maybe he's more interested now because we have a bird. You've been fed, cat. Anyway, let's move on to size comparison. So on to our size comparison now, and obviously the most obvious choice for the size comparison is the Kingdom Air Razor. And yeah, you can see, we are showing you the as you can see, they are pretty similar in terms of, well, because they are pretty much the same mold, just slightly retooled and recolored. Out of the two, Nathan, which do you prefer? Filch, okay. And then you were a big fan of Air Razor, weren't you?
I know.
Air Razor was actually one of Nathan's favourite characters in Rise of the Beasts. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I like Air Razor when she's a pretty cool figure, but
Filch just like smashes it.
yeah,
Takes the mold and just doubles it.
I think what's also quite telling, is Air Razor is very much a beast. She's meant to look like a falcon.
Yes.
Or a
Hawk.
hawk or something like that. Whereas Filch, yes, she looks like a bird, but she's still mechanical. Rather than a natural, like, she wouldn't be in disguise because it's quite obviously she's a giant metal robot. Whereas Air Razor's meant to, I mean, she's still a giant, if she's not, doesn't shrink.
Hawk.
Yeah, I think they mass shift. I can't even speak properly. I've not been well yesterday, so please forgive me. I'm very, very tired. So I think she would actually be the size of an actual hawk. Whereas Filch, I think in the Robots in Disguise cartoon, she was never the size of a crow. She was always like a 50-foot crow, mechanical crow. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, let's move on to transformation. So let's get on to transformation. First off, what we want to do is lift this tail up and pull this section out. Then we want to lift up the chest a little bit. We then want to move the head back slightly, but not all the way yet, because what we're going to do now is these two tabs, they were originally plugged into this hole here, but there's another set of holes underneath, and that's where they're going to plug into before we then move the head into position. And it sort of clicks a little bit and it moves back a little bit. So we have something that looks like this. Next, we want to take the arms and sort of condense them down a little bit. And this gap here, sort of like there's like a little indent in just behind the abdomen. The arms are gonna, the hands or the fists are gonna fit in that gap there, like so. And you'll know you've got it right because there's obviously this little tab here, and there's like a little indent just above my thumb there. So let's just try and get that. There we go. It's a bit of a, just slightly. There we go. See how it sort of fits in there? So it's slightly out, but yeah, there we go. And then the same on the other side. And just in there. She's like that. And then we swap we turn the legs around at the waist. We then make her do the splits. That's got to be painful. And we then turn at the knee on either side. And then switch them. Move the thigh that way, so down. No, have I done that right? Oh, so she sort of ends up in almost like a meditating pose, like this. Fold the feet out like that, and then we sort of. Oh, I think I've done something a little bit wrong here. because they should now, there we go, just maneuver them a little bit so she's now like this. No, I'll tell you what I've done wrong. There we go. Sorry, so the thigh needs to be twisted so that it's more, so that this little this space here can be here for that tab, and that will tab in there, in like that, and there's the other tab there, and there we have, and obviously we spread out her wings, and she can move her head a little bit up and down there. And I think that's it. And there we have Filch in her crow mode. Nathan, your thoughts on the crow mode?
Okay, so again, very Decepticon colour palette. You've got the purples, the greys, the blues, but then you come over to the eye, and it looks amazing.
It just gives it that bit of character, doesn't it? I think it
the
just...
little shine in the eye.
Yeah.
Like Filch is looking at like a shiny watch or something.
Yeah. Again, you can tell it's that whole mechanical bird. You know, there's lots of like details that show more, rather than feathers like Air Razor, more like like mechanical, isn't it? Which mode do you think you prefer, Nathan?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with Crow. It's so cool.
Okay.
Look at that face sculpt. So good.
It is a very good mode. I do actually think I prefer that mold, that
And
version as well.
Tear-looking things in the wings. I obviously know they're not tear, but like that's how the wings would be. But it just looks, well.
Just gives it a bit of character, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So let's move on to the size comparison with Air Razor. So a really quick comparison of the two in bot mode, and I think Filch wins it for me. I mean, look, Air Razor is cool. Don't get me wrong, Air Razor is a pretty cool, but I think Filch just looks better. I think she's more suited to this whole crow look sort of thing than Air Razor is to the, like, especially like when it's like this. Maybe in like flight mode, like if you have them like flying, you know, Air Razor there looks really cool because like you don't see any bot. But I think once you get to like this,
it just looks goofy.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, whereas it kind of Filch gets away with it a little bit more, I think.
So she could like Filch's colours look more actually like the underbelly.
Yeah, but I also think because she's more of a bot rather than mechanical one. I mean, she looks pretty cool as a, but I think when like if you was to display her like this,
so much better.
Yeah, I think then Air Razor. So your final thoughts, Nathan, on Filch?
Overall, I think it's a really good figure. Really, really like Filch. I'm very happy with the purchase. I love the palette, the colour palette. Oh.
So we bought her brand new full price. Would you preferred waiting for it to go down in price, or you're still happy with?
Still happy.
Yeah, you're glad you got her now. So she's not like I wish I would have got her for a bargain. Mm-hmm. Okay, right. Well, that is our review of Filch. We hope you enjoy it and see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.